Hello everyone, welcome to another video. This time I would like to talk about something that I've been dealing with when it comes to cooking. The other day I received a packet of goods, free stuff for a student. And one of those things you know, was a noodle soup in a paper cup. So the only thing I needed to do is to put some hot water in it. But that's where the problem started. Because with my disability, with cerebral palsy, what happens to me, I'm not sure if it happens to everyone that has cerebral palsy, but what happens to me is that when I handle something that is hot, I, I get scared and I'm afraid of dropping it. So I can't handle the liquid hot. So, and honestly, my brain knows it, but when it comes to the point of, eating something, I often forget to ask someone to help me handle it and bring it to the table. But I'm wondering what could be the best way for me to make sure that I can, handle the hot and not drop it like it's hot. Because I understand that everybody's feeling, when they're dealing with something that is hot, they're feeling that it burns them, but they can still, speed themselves up and make sure that they can sit it down. But what happens to me is when I get sort of shocked about it, I sort of remain stiff and not move. So that's, a little bit counterproductive when you want to do something really fast to make sure that it's not, burning you anymore. So I'm wondering, obviously, there are solutions like, some sort of gloves that would absorb some of the heat or dissipate it, depending on a material that it's made of. But, it was just an interesting thing that happened to me that I was like, hey, I should have thought about it beforehand. And that's actually another thing I want to mention, that, as a disabled person, I sort of have to plan things out beforehand. Before I start doing something, I have to plan it out to make sure that I'm actually physically going to be capable of doing it. For example, I know about myself that when I'm cooking something that, is fried and the oil is spilling all over the place, I'm not having as good of a reflex. So I have to basically be prepared to get hurt. And if it happens, what is the thing I have to do? Some of you might have sort of automated responses, but I have to think about it. It's not become automated yet. In terms of, like, if I spill something on the floor, I have to think about when it happens. I have to think about what am I going to do about it. But when I'm looking at, like, I would say able-bodied or healthy-looking people, it seems that they always, sort of know what to do when things happen. And I feel like this disability affecting my muscle coordination is having some issues with other stuff too, but not into the intellectual part. I'm a pretty intelligent person, but sometimes my reflexes are not right and my motorical functions are not right. So if you ask me to handle something, it better be big enough. Because when it comes to like very small things, and like for example, I remember one time I was asked to have, an egg on the big spoon, and just handle it and go with it a couple of meters. And I was so afraid that I would drop it that I, basically said, no, I'm not going to do it. So the point of this video is to share with you the sort of struggle that I have. And it's nothing against people that want to help me, but I just don't know how. You know, I wish I could be having better reactions to things when they happen and could be able to handle stuff quickly, but it isn't happening. I know it could be trained, and I hope it, that I could improve, but I think it comes with experience. But the thing that was funny about, the soup, and later on about a meal that I just made to myself the other day, was that, my brain knew that it's gonna be hot, but I didn't prepare for it. So, and then I had to wait for the food to cool down a little bit. So that would be, you know, better manageable. Maybe I'm just thinking too much about stuff, and maybe able bodied people would do the same thing. Would just wait for it to cool down a little bit so that they wouldn't burn themselves. But I was just like thinking that this is a regular occurrence for me, that whenever I'm handling something hot or something liquid, it has been an issue to me. For example, if I'm pouring myself a drink, I always need to make sure that it's not to the brim or not even close to the brim, because as I walk, you would say I have a limp. So, or among us disabled people, we would say we have a swag. So, with that being said, there's obviously some leeway to be given. So if I have, liquids running to the brim, I'd be so afraid of spilling it that I would, first drink half the cup and then move with the rest of it. So for me, actually, drinking out of a half a liter cup is probably the best thing, because even if I pour it half full, it's still gonna be enough for me to, make use of it and make sense of the trip. Like, if somebody wants to order me a coffee, which would be like a piccolo, I would be like, first of all, I don't drink coffee anymore, and second of all, it's too little, and I'm not gonna handle that. And that's it for today. I will tell you more about my experiences probably on Monday. But if you have any questions and any suggestions for future videos and future things that you want to know about, either my disability or any other one, I'm definitely going to spend some time studying and talking to other people that have different disabilities to bring you an interesting stories from their life and to explain to you how they feel. And I find this to be very good option for me to ventilate things that I wouldn't be able to talk about, and I hope it's useful to all of you. So please leave a comment with suggestions and with recommendations and with your answers to anything or questions about anything you need to know. Also consider subscribing so you don't miss the future videos, and make sure that you have rung the bell so that even if YouTube decides to give you just one of them, you'll be able to, see all of the videos. Thank you so much for watching and listening.